Well, this is a tale, we often talk about a tale, Peter, of two cities. This is a tale of two countries, if you will. And if you look at the tabloid newspapers that we have here in New York, there's the conservative-leaning New York Post that has this out. They said it couldn't happen, President Trump. I don't normally buy print newspapers anymore in this digital age, but I thought I'd purchase them today. The liberal-leaning Daily News tabloid has this out, House of Horrors, and I think that speaks to just how certainly a majority of New Yorkers feel. Of course, this is a state, one of the states that Hillary Clinton actually did win. And, of course, we were out all night in Times Square with thousands of people. Of course, thousands of people had gathered at her so-called victory party celebration at the Javits Center on the west coast of Manhattan. And lots of tears, lots of shock, lot of horror. People have a lot of anxiety. They were not expecting this. The polls had not indicated this. So, as you say, shocked indeed, Peter, shocked indeed.
So I guess the autopsies have already started because no one saw this coming. The polls that we now had been relying on, the exit polls that people had been using as indicators, we kind of just throw them out the book because he did what really looked like the impossible. What have people been saying has been the reason for this shock win?
Well, enough of the polls, right, Peter? I mean, there was a poll here every other day talking about national polls and polls in the various swing states, and he's confounded everybody. No political scientist that you spoke to at the beginning of June in 2015 when Donald Trump announced that he was running for president at Trump headquarters on Fifth Avenue here in Manhattan would have told you that we would have ended up with Trump as the 45th president of the United States. The models, the Reuters model, the New York Times model, had Hillary Clinton winning at the beginning of the night from between 85% to 95%. And as the night proceeded, you suddenly had Florida come in for Trump. You then had North Carolina come in for Trump. And so the red tide kept growing across the United States. He then turned the blue firewall in the Midwestern states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania had crucially 20 electoral college votes, and he managed to turn that. And this is why we emphasize this notion of the Electoral College. People always talk to us about what does the Electoral College mean? Explain the Electoral College to us. The Electoral College gets you elected United States President. Right now, we are looking at numbers where Hillary Clinton is winning the popular vote nationally in this country, but has already lost the election. So you had to get to 270. 270 was the magic number. You ask me, why did this happen? Record turnout from white, college and non-college educated voters for Donald Trump. We talk about a coalition required to win the White House, certainly a coalition that propelled Barack Obama into the White House in 2008 and 2012. Hillary was unable to patch together that kind of coalition. She was down. I mean, she had high numbers in the black turnout, but it wasn't the high numbers that Barack Obama had. Barack Obama had 98%. Hillary was in the 80s. Donald Trump actually managed to supersede the numbers that Mitt Romney got in 2012 with the Hispanic vote. Mitt Romney got 27%. Donald Trump managed to get 29%. And so she lost the white vote. And so that coalition fell apart in the closing stages here. And this is why we are confounded today in many ways.
So once Hillary Clinton had conceded and made that phone call, in stepped President-elect Donald Trump, and he seemed quite presidential in his winning speech.
Well, we talk about this divided countries. I've just shown you the two headlines of two opposing views in this country. And Hillary Clinton had sort of tried to pivot at the end of her campaign towards talking about how she would govern, the fact that she wanted to be a president for all people. We didn't hear that from Donald Trump until he won the election. Of course, he had already said that he would decide on election night whether he would accept the results of the election. I don't think he was going to dispute them last night. And so you did hear sort of a different tone from Donald Trump, if you will, a pivot, if you will, because this is a divided country. Look, I mean, a lot of people in New York and in various liberal parts of the country, progressive parts of the country, in big cities around the United States are saying Donald Trump is not my president, but he has a role to play here. Barack Obama will give him advice tomorrow when they meet at the White House. He will talk about how divided this country is, how difficult it is as a president when you have a divided branches of government to implement your agenda. Congress, the former minority leader in the Senate, now the majority leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, McConnell, said after 2008 when Barack Obama was elected that he wanted to ensure that Barack Obama was a one-term president. Donald Trump's not going to have that problem. He could be one of the most powerful presidents of the United States in modern history. They've won the Senate, they've won the House of Representatives and the White House. He will appoint the next Supreme Court justice. It's all favoring the Republican Party right now.
And very briefly now, where there's a winner, there's a loser. And the expectation was that Hillary Clinton would step up and give a concession speech, but she went to bed.
She sent out her campaign manager, John Podesta. Look, I think this must have come as quite a shock to Hillary Clinton. You know, they had fireworks. There's a lot of gunpowder along the Hudson River on the west coast of and the west side of Manhattan, because there was supposed to be this massive fireworks display when the first woman president was named president-elect of the United States. That didn't happen. This has confounded people inside the campaign. The polling data was a little off, clearly. They were not expecting this. Donald Trump was supposed to lose last night. So I think she had to gather her thoughts. I think she wants to come out and give a well-thought-out concession speech rather than the victory speech she might have planned. And we're just moments away. I've got a monitor on to my left here. Her vice presidential running mate, Tim Kaine, is speaking right now. So we should hear from Hillary Clinton in the next few minutes.
All right, so Sherwin, thanks very much indeed. We'll catch up with you a bit later on. Let's try and see